And just we'll chant a short bhajan, followed by maybe 15-20 minutes of discussion on Govardhan Leela. Okay, so we'll chant a bhajan written by one of our acharyas, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and it's a very popular bhajan, so very easy to follow also. Yashomati Nandana Bhajan. So we'll chant that bhajan and we'll discuss a little bit on the Govardhan Leela. Yashomati Nandana Brajabharanagar Gokula Rangana Khana Yashomati Nandana Brajabharanagar Gokula Yashomati Nandana Brajabharanagar Gokula Rangana Khana Yashomati Nandana Brajabharanagar Gokula Rangana नित्याय की जय, सीताराम लक्ष्मण भक्त हनुमान जी की जय, श्रीनाथ जी गोपाल जी की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। So we'll discuss from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 25, verse number 1. So in the interest of time, I'm going to chant and also read the purport quickly. So this is Sukadev Goswami saying, Sri Sukha Uvacha Idrastadatmanam Pujam Vigyaya Vitham Dripa Gopebhya Krishna Natebhyo Nandadibhyascha Kopaha. Sukadev Goswami said, My dear King Parikshit, when Indra understood that his sacrifice had been put aside, he became furious with Nanda Maharaj and other coward men who were accepting Lord Krishna as their Lord. Purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. At the very beginning of this chapter, Sukadev Goswami reveals the foolishness of Indra and the absurdity of his anger. Indra was frustrated because the residents of Vrindavan accepted Sri Krishna as their Lord. But the simple fact is that Sri Krishna is the Lord not only of the resident of Vrindavan, but of all that exists, including Indra himself. Thus Indra's petulant reaction was ridiculous. As the common saying goes, pride goes before a fall. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So today we are celebrating the Govardhan Puja, the pastime of Krishna lifting the Govardhan hill. As you know, the Srimad Bhagavatam narrates a lot of pastimes of Lord Krishna, and each pastime has certain teachings, certain lessons we can learn from this. Okay, so just before this pastime of lifting Govardhan hill occurred, there's another thing happened, and it's mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam, where Krishna delivers the wives of the Brahmanas. The Brahmanas who were too much attached to the ritualistic activities. So these Brahmins were so much attached to the ritualistic activities, they forgot what is the real purpose of the ritualistic activities or following dharma. Whereas their wives, they were simple Vrajavasis ladies. They didn't know about yajna, they didn't know about mantra or anything, but they had a full faith in Lord Krishna. So what happens is, when their husbands were busy doing all this kind of yajna, Krishna calls all the residents and these Brahmana Patnis, the wives of Brahmins, they go to the forest and they had a full darshan of Lord Krishna. Whereas Brahmins who were doing the yajna, they missed the whole opportunity. So when these Brahmins came to know this happened, they were really morose. They were thinking, what did we do? We spent all our lives doing yajna, whereas our wives, they were such a simple ladies and they had an opportunity to see Krishna, and we are here sitting in front of the fire and all our face is black because of all the things coming out of the fire. So they were really feeling remorse and also they were feeling repentance. So they also wanted to see Krishna. So Krishna understands. See, whenever Krishna does any pastime, even though he gives certain lessons, it's not that he's doing something out of anger or envy. So when these Brahmins also had a desire to see Krishna, Krishna does the next pastime, which is lifting the Govardhan hill. And our Acharya says that this pastime of Krishna lifting the Govardhan hill took place in the same village, same place where all those Brahmins were there. So they had all these Brahmins who had desire to see Krishna had an opportunity to participate in Krishna's Leela of Govardhan hill, and they were underneath that Govardhan hill for 7 full days, taking full darshan of Lord Krishna. So the lesson learned here is, yes, sometimes we may make some mistakes on the path of spirituality, but if you really understand, if you like recognize our mistakes and really repentance on those mistakes, Krishna is always ready to give us shelter. So this is, we can learn from this, the Brahmins who were too much attached to the ritualistic activities. So this verse here, which we just chanted, is Sukdev Goswami says that Gopyebhya Krishna Natebhyo. So Krishna was Natha, or the Lord for all Rajavasis. Now Natha means the Lord. But there is a difference between how Rajavasis see the Nath or the Lord compared to outside Vrindavan. See, Rajavasis, even though they see Krishna sometimes as a Lord, they do not have that mood of awe and reverence. There is Aishwarya Bhava is completely missing. There is no formality in their dealings with Krishna and Vrindavan. So that is the beauty of this, when we say Nath, when they are calling Nath as Krishna, that's the beauty in Vrindavan. See, the beauty of Vrindavan is, the outside Vrindavan, everybody prays to God, whereas in Vrindavan, everyone prays for the God. That's the difference. Outside Vrindavan, everyone prays to Krishna to give some, please give me this, give me that, give me something. Whereas Vrindavan, and Krishna is tired of people asking all these things. So in Vrindavan, Krishna goes from one house to another and begs that, please give me butter, give me this, give me that, give me that. So it's exactly opposite in Vrindavan. And outside Vrindavan, everyone says, Krishna, please protect me, please, give me shelter. Whereas, don't punish me. That's what people generally pray to Krishna. Whereas in Vrindavan, Mother Yashoda has a power, because of the bhakti, she has a power to punish Krishna. So that's the beauty of Vrindavan. So it's said that in Vrindavan, every Vrajavasis, they were worried about Krishna, they were worried about his health, they were worried about his food, all these things. So when this Govardhan Leela happened, as you know that Krishna, how old was Krishna? 7 years old boy, just a young boy, and he lifted Govardhan using his left hand with the small finger, pinky finger, for 7 full days. And he was holding like that for 7 full days. Now, it is a custom that Mother Yashoda always would gives 8 different meals to Krishna. Right, from breakfast, brunch, and lunch, and then snacks, and so many things. Dinner, and the late night dinner before you go. So likewise, there are 8 meals she would give to Krishna every day. But when Krishna lifted Govardhan hill, she could not feed him. So 7 days passed, and she could not feed. So after 7 days, when Krishna kept the Govardhan hill down, Mother Yashoda was thinking, I missed 7 full days, and I generally give him 8 meals a day. So 8 times 7 is how much? 56. So she said, let me prepare 56 items for Krishna on the after Govardhan Leela pastime. So this is how the whole Chappan Bhog concept came. So nowadays, you must have heard Chappan Bhog 56, because that's the Mother Yashoda's love for Krishna, because she didn't want to miss those 8 meals Krishna missed during the Govardhan Leela. So when we say the relationship in Vrindavan does not have a Aishwarya Bhava or the opulence or the formality, that doesn't mean that Vrindavan doesn't have a opulence. No, there's a difference. Vrindavan is actually full of opulence. It is said that when Indra decided to, bring torrential rain to Vrindavan with the help of Samvartaka cloud, Krishna immediately lifted the Govardhan hill. Krishna was just a 7-year-old boy. And he called all Vrajavasis and said, please come. Take a shelter under this big umbrella, under this Govardhan hill. And he says, I'm just a 7-year-old boy. I cannot lift this Govardhan. Because you fed all offerings to Govardhan, Govardhan is very strong now. So he is lifting by himself. He's actually, in fact, is as light as a cotton ball. I'm just holding my finger. But actually it's the Govardhan who is elevating himself. So he's calling everyone, all the Vrajavasis, 900,000 cows and all the animals. Everyone takes a shelter under Govardhan hill. And it's said that when Krishna lifted the Govardhan hill, the the mud or the earth from the boundary of that Govardhan hill just fell down, and it formed a beautiful wall around the Govardhan hill so that no water could come inside. It's a perfect arrangement for Krishna. Now someone might think that Krishna had just lifted the Govardhan hill. There must be a lot of mud and dirt and everyone and dark place. And how can all these Rajavasis live under Govardhan hill? Right? That's generally people think. Because sometimes we hear in the newspaper or the news, this miners, they get trapped in the mine underneath the ground, and they are in a dark place for like 10 days, 15 days, and somehow people rescue them. So is it like that under the Govardhan hill? Really not. Actually, our Acharya says that underneath the Govardhan hill, that the ceiling was filled with all kinds of jewels, rubies, diamonds, sapphire, whatever it is, filled with all. And go underneath Govardhan hill, it was not like a muddy area the way we think. It was perfectly planned city. There were roads, there were different rooms. Every room was decorated. There was a freshwater pond for all the cows. There was a green pasture. There was a garden with beautiful fragrant flowers. And entire area was lit, not by sun, but from Krishna's Kaustuba jewel. So you can imagine it's a beautiful party going on underneath the hill with Krishna's mercy. So much opulence was there underneath the Govardhan. What to speak about the Vrindavan? This is why 500 years back, when Akbar, he went to Vrindavan, and because of the mercy of Jiva Goswami, he was able to see all kinds of wealth in Radhakund and Shyamkund. And he was thinking, I'm the king of this whole region. I do not have even a fraction of that type of opulence. So opulence is there in Vrindavan, but the beauty of Vrindavan is that opulence does not inhibit the relationship between the Rajavasis and Lord Krishna. So that is what is the beauty of Vrindavan. Now, one might ask, why did Indra do this? Right? See, there are different types of devotees. The devotees from Vrindavan and Vaikuntha, they are pure. They do not have any tinge of any material attachment. Whereas in this material world, we all have desires, material desires. So these desires vary, and Indra and Brahma, they are very highly elevated devotees, but they are still in this material world. So Krishna sometimes uses these highly elevated devotees like Indra to teach us some lesson. Because if he uses one of us like ordinary people, nobody is going to take that lesson seriously, right? So for example, when the companies want to advertise something, they always take some celebrities. Why? Because if there are celebrities, we take those message seriously. So same way, Krishna is doing the same thing. He's using Indra or sometimes Brahma to teach us certain lessons. Now, why did Indra do this? Because Indra is also a great devotee of Krishna, and Govardhan is also a great devotee of Krishna. So why did he do that? Because it's a pride. Because Indra has such a exalted position, so much opulence, it's natural that sometimes the pride comes. And Krishna wanted to curb or get rid of that pride from Indra, and that's why this pastime took place. Now, it's interesting that there are asuras in this world, right? There are demigods, devatas, and also asuras. Now, one might ask, why are there asuras? Krishna could have got rid of the asuras so many different ways. But every pastime of Krishna, you see the asuras coming one after the other. And one of our acharyas says the reason asuras are there to keep demigods in control. Because if asuras are not there, in just a matter of time, demigods will also become asuras. Because there's so much power, so much opulence, so much wealth. So it's naturally the pride and everything comes. So that's why to keep that under control, there are always asuras. So this is why Kunti Maharani, one of the greatest devotee of Lord Krishna, says, Janmaishwarya Sruta Sribir Edamana Madapuman Naivarti Abhidatumve Tvam Akinchana Gocharam. She says, Kunti Maharani is saying, as long as one has Janma, Aishwarya, the aristocratic family, birth in aristocratic family, or the wealth, or the beauty, or a lot of intelligence. As long as someone has those things in abundance, and when he gets, because of these things, one will get the pride, and because of that pride, one will not be able to surrender to Krishna completely. That's why she's saying one has to be akinchana gocharam. One has to get rid of all these things. One has to be like completely devoid of all these things. Then only one can take shelter of Lord Krishna. And we can see that the great dictators or sometimes politicians who hold the position for a long, long time, they are completely out of this world. They don't have any connection with the reality of this world because there is mad puman. That's what Kunti Maharani is saying. They are intoxicated with these type of opulences. And this pride actually is that there is a different level of pride. There is a different gradation of pride. And it's mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam also. The initial level of pride is known as mattaha. So that's like beginning level of intoxication. Somebody is too much talks about himself, too much talks about his power, he's always self-centered. That's like mattaha. The next level of pride is pramattaha. Pramatta means is more intoxication, and there is no question of morality. He doesn't care about others. This is pramatta. This is the next level of pride. And the last level is known as unmattaha, which is complete insanity. They just don't care. They don't respect Lord. They don't respect devotees. Everything is completely self-centered. They are completely out of touch. So, depending upon which level of pride one is, Krishna uses different leela to teach a lesson. So, in case of Indra, if you think about it, Indra is the king of heaven, right? And that time, the time zone, or not the time, the relative time in Indraloka is completely different than the time here on the earthly planet. As you know that one day in a moon planet is 6 months here on the earthly planet. Now think about the Indra's planet. The one day in Indra's planet may be thousands and thousands of years here. So when Krishna appeared 5,000 years back, he was here for how long? Just 125 years. Now 125 years, according to Indra's time, is only maybe 1 or 2 minutes. Not more than that, maybe 3 minutes. That's all. But think about how many times Indra made a mistake in those 3 minutes. Right? First, Govardhan Leela, this Govardhan pastime, Krishna makes a mistake. Indra makes a mistake and he asks for the forgiveness. Krishna forgives him and done. And immediately after Govardhan Leela, Krishna and Satyabhama, they are in Dwaraka, they kill Narakasur. And after killing Narakasur, Krishna and Satyabhama, they go to Amravati in the heavenly planets where King Indra is there. And in Amravati, Satyabhama wanted Parijata flower. And she plucks one flower from that Indra's garden. And that is it. Indra gets furious. So furious that he starts fighting with Krishna. Now this is just in 2 minutes. Can you believe? So this is what the pride means. Sometimes pride, depending upon which level of pride, we might understand our mistake, but again we do it again. Because that is what unmata means. So this particular pastime, beautiful pastime of Krishna, teaches us that we have to be extremely careful about the pride. So this is why, most of us are working outside, some of us are in a corporate world, some of us are business people. Doesn't matter, but on day-to-day basis, from Monday to Friday or Monday to Saturday, we hold different positions. We manage people, we manage companies, so many things. And to come on Sunday to here in the temple and suddenly bow down is very difficult because our mind is so much accustomed to that type of pride. So the only way we can control this pride is when we come to Lord or when we meet any Vaishnavas, we should always seek for some menial service, because that menial service keeps us down, properly grounded. Because there are a lot of services which you get a lot of recognition. For example, if you sit here, Vyasas, and give a lecture, I'm sure you'll get a lot of recognition. So that's not going to bring your pride down. But if you do only these activities all the time, then definitely it's just a matter of time, the pride is going to slip in. And one day you will be into that position of matta, pramatta or unmatta state. This is why let's always look for some menial service, whether it's a washing or cleaning or something, or doing a menial service to Vaishnavas is extremely important. This is the reason, if you look at in the Indian temple, most of the Indian temples are huge. The deity room is big, but the entrance to the deity room is always, the door is always 4 feet, or maybe sometimes 3.5 feet. Why? Because whether it's a common man or the king enters the temple, he has to bow down first. That way, doesn't matter what is your position in front of the Lord. So, this is what the lesson we can learn from this Govardhan Leela is, we should be extremely careful about the pride, and we should make sure that pride does not interfere with our bhakti. So we can learn this from this Govardhan Leela. Hare Krishna.